totally ready for our featured speaker. And let me just say that this is a new coach story, and I do these once in a while, maybe sometimes, I don't know, every month or so, where it's a coach who is about a year and a half in the business, and that's how long she has been coaching, is about a year and a half. And I want to feature their story about what they did to get started. Just so if you're a new coach, you can see what they did. You can, not that I want you to compare, but you can see if there's things that you could do to improve your business skills, or not, or it'll just validate what you're already doing, which is always great too. So she is now a 5-star diamond coach, which we're excited about because she did go to the NLC conference earlier this year, New Leader Conference. And she's going to be attending leadership, which is for 5 stars and above. So that's very exciting. She is a Success Club 10 All-Star. If you're new to Beachbody, Success Club is helping at least 3 people every single month, new people every single month, get into a healthy solution. And she has been doing that for over 12 months, so every single month. And she started out as a new coach as a success starter, which meant that she was achieving Success Club continuously in her first few months in the business. So she is from Champaign, Illinois. Taylor Tureskis. Taylor, it's time. So funny too, because I said, hey, sit still till about 15, 16 minutes past the hour, and look at where we're at. It's perfect timing.
Here we are. Yes.
It is so good to see you. Congratulations on all your success in your first year and a half in the business.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited and honored to be on this call this morning.
Yay. Well, I see the sunlight is already shining a halo over you. So
yeah, I'll pull down my shade. There we go.
That's absolutely perfect. I'm going to step out of the way. Why don't you let people know what brought you to Beachbody? Because you have a really great story.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. As Sandy mentioned, my name is Taylor Tureskis. And before I get started, I just have to give a shout out to my team, Sunshine Daydreamers. I would not be here without them. So love those girls so much. I'm going to dive into my story and how I found coaching. So before coaching, I was working full-time as an event and volunteer coordinator. So that kind of means like fundraising money through events. And I did that for a nonprofit. I had been in that career for about a year when I decided to become a coach. And I never really knew like what I wanted to do with my life or like what job I wanted to have. So, I went to school, I got a degree in communication thinking, maybe that this is something that could help me be successful, like in whatever endeavor I choose or career I choose. And turns out I was right. But I followed the traditional path of going to school, getting the degree, and looking for like that 8-to-5 job with a salary, 401k, benefits, all the things. So I thought I had landed my dream job when I found my job at the nonprofit. And after the initial excitement wore off, I really started to feel myself feeling complacent and just going through the motions, and like my potential was being capped. I really found myself like on a day-to-day basis, just looking at my life and thinking like, is this it? Like, is this really it? Like what I'm going to do for the next like 30, 40 years until I retire? And the thing is, I worked for a great organization. I truly did. I had an amazing team. I even had an office with a window, which I know is like, most people like die for that, right? Especially in the corporate world. But I had done all the things that society tells you to do, but I still didn't feel fulfilled or like I was following the right path, my path. I was working hard for someone else, but still living paycheck to paycheck. I was stuck inside a freezing cold, fluorescent lit office, which to me felt like a jail cell. I was working on projects that just weren't meaningful to me, and I had super limited time off and often had to work late into the evenings and on weekends. So shortly after landing this big girl job, I decided to pursue group fitness instructing. And it was a dream that I had had for many years. So I got certified to teach barre, because I loved health and fitness and helping others. So after teaching for a while, and as I was starting to feel stuck in my 8 to 5, I really started to dream of other ways and careers that I could pursue that would allow me to create more time and space freedom in my everyday. So for a short period of time, I thought I wanted to go full time with group fitness instructing because I thought that it would allow me to move my body more, which, as I mentioned, like I hated being stuck inside and having to sit at an office all day. And I thought it would allow me to create more like schedule, like freedom in my everyday schedule. However, I quickly realized that I would have to teach 16 to 20 group fitness classes a week just to earn enough money to like get by, which, if you are familiar with group fitness, would mean I would have to teach at multiple studios because I couldn't teach like all classes at one studio that week. Lots of time commuting. I would have to teach early in the mornings. Like I taught 5 a.m. classes and 6:30 p.m. classes. So late in the evenings, weekends, lots of scheduling conflicts. Like I remember server life because prior to like big girl job, I was a server like from high school all the way through college. And I just hated like the scheduling conflict of always having to like try to get shifts covered and like swapped and whatever. And I knew that that meant I would miss out on important events. So if you teach group fitness or have taught group fitness, you know how exhausting it can be and how hard it is on your body. So while that was like a glamorized idea that I had, I quickly realized that like the group fitness full-time instructor life was not for me. And when I found coaching and before I found coaching, I had always been passionate about health and fitness, but I was at an all-time low on my personal journey. For as long as I can remember, I had an unhealthy mindset when it came to my health, and I really struggled with nutrition and body image. I had an eating disorder in high school, and those unhealthy thoughts and thought patterns and behaviors of binging, restricting, obsessing, shaming carried into my adult life. So honestly, when I look back at Taylor a year and a half ago, it honestly brings me to tears thinking about how badly she wanted to create a healthier relationship with herself and her body and food and fitness, but she just didn't know how, and she didn't have the right tools, resources, or support to do that. So there I was, unfulfilled in my job, craving more time and space freedom. I had landed the big girl job, but I was still living paycheck to paycheck, burnt out with teaching group fitness, and just at an all-time low on my own personal journey. The moment that I decided to make a change, I will never forget. I was in my boss's office at my event coordinating job. I had been in that role for about a year. I had fundraised an additional $20,000 through the events that I hosted that year. And I was in her office asking for a raise. In the moment when I asked for the raise, her response, she laughed at me. And I know that she didn't laugh at me like in a degrading way, or like she didn't mean it to be hurtful, but I'll never forget the way that it made me feel. Like I was completely out of control over my entire life, and I was being confined to a box, that I was made for so much more than what was being offered to me. She proceeded to tell me that everyone gets a 50-cent raise per year and that I should be happy with that. In that moment, I walked out of my boss's office. I just had a burning feeling in my heart that I needed to make a change. And that moment was my wake-up call. So I did have past experience with network marketing, but I had never really seen success. Slinging shampoo and vitamins eventually just got old, and I didn't feel like I was making an impact or creating something bigger than myself. I had always been intrigued with the network marketing opportunity, and I felt that it would allow me to build something of my own, create a massive impact, be able to chase something bigger and pursue that entrepreneurial drive within me. So I was telling my friend that I was looking for a new opportunity in the health and fitness world, and she recommended that I follow my now coach, Amy Bailey. And before following her, Beachbody was not on my radar at all. And I actually didn't follow any other coaches. However, I did have experience with Beachbody in the past. My sister and I had purchased the 21 Day Fix videos and Shakeology like 6 or 7 years ago now. And we did the program together, but we never finished it. At that time, I had no idea that there was a whole community and business opportunity within Beachbody. But I continued to use the videos for years. Even though I still never completed it start to finish. And I was still just totally unaware of, the opportunity and the community within Beachbody. So I started following Amy, my coach, and like most of us do before signing up, I creeped on her so hard. But it only took me a few days of watching her before I decided to officially sign up. Yes, I was the unicorn. She did not invite me. I watched her for a very short period of time, and I saw her creating a life by design. And that is what I so badly was craving at that place in my life. I wanted the freedom and the control to create a life that aligned with like my big dreams and vision. So that week, I started following her. She hosted a coaching sneak peek. And that was the day I joined as a coach. And that is what brought me to where I am here today.
There is so much about your story that I'm just hanging on. Okay. First of all, thank you for being so honest and sharing that experience, because I think of so many people who want a big girl job, who want the corner office with the window. I'm one of those people, and I just can't believe how much we lay on ourselves for that somebody else to make those decisions for us, whether or not you get a raise, whether or not you get vacation time. And now that you're in a position of being your own boss and you have people on your team who want to make more money, there's no laughing in their face if they want to make more money. They just work harder, right?
Right, exactly. That's the best. That's the best thing about coaching. I'm trying to get my blinds at the
That's
right
fine.
spot.
I just wrote down a few things about what you said and how you did not have control of the impact that you were making. I mean, you were fundraising, you were bringing money into a company, and they could not give you a raise. It still crushes me to hear that story, and also how many people leave their jobs to come and do coaching, and then they realize that they're in control. I mean, you're an independent Team Beachbody coach. I mean, this is your role now. You are in control. So I am going to ask you now, a year and a half ago, what was the first thing you did to get started as a coach?
Yeah. Oh man, it's so funny thinking back, because before I officially got started, I had already decided that I was going to become a coach. I was just waiting to like get all signed up with Amy. I shared a story inviting my followers to an upcoming challenge group, but I did not know what a challenge group was because I wasn't a part of the community yet. So in my email to Amy, I was like, okay, I know I haven't officially signed up yet, but I'm already inviting people to my next challenge group. Can you please explain to me what the heck a challenge group is? And I just had no idea, but I had been watching her and I had been taking mental notes about how she was sharing and like the things she was talking about. So I just decided to go for it. And, before I had officially decided to become a coach, I knew I wanted to like shift more into the health and fitness world, and had already been sharing like more of my personal like journey on social media. And as I mentioned earlier, I was teaching barre, sharing a lot of like my own healthy lifestyle and workouts on my page. So Beachbody and coaching was a really natural transition. So I invited to my first challenge group, had no idea what a challenge group was. I did like a little poll. I literally I know the picture that I used and I like think back to it. It's just so funny. But I started planning and inviting to my first challenge group. I figured out what a challenge group was. I committed to a program. T20 was my first program, and I started my day one that next Monday. And the most important thing that I did, you guys, was I implemented a new morning routine. And before coaching, I really was just going through the motions. I would sleep in until the very last minute. I would wake up at 7:30 and I had to be at work at like 8:05, 8:10. It's so funny to think about. So I would, sleep in last minute, rush off to work. I was working out super late in the evenings. I'd have to commute like 20 minutes to the gym. I would do my hour-long group fitness classes, commute back home. I wouldn't get home until after 7 o'clock. And it just felt like I had no free time and was always so stressed. So I decided I would have to make some radical changes in my day-to-day routine if I wanted to see success with this new coaching thing. So I started reading the book Miracle Morning week 1. I ordered it on Amazon, like probably before I officially even signed up as a coach. And I started waking up significantly earlier to start focusing on my coaching business and working out early in the morning instead of late in the evening, which I always told myself, like, I'm not a morning workout person, but power of the thought. Felt like I didn't have time at all. Like everyone is stressed and busy, right? Like I don't have children yet. I'm not married. But like we all are busy. So it's really a mindset. And I knew that I just had to create that time. Like I didn't have the time. I had to create the time. And that really all comes down to just prioritizing. So I started pushing back my alarm from snoozing until 7:30 in the morning to eventually waking up at 5 a.m., sometimes even earlier when I was really in like the peak of building my business. And no, I didn't like, cold turkey, sleep in until 7:30 and then all of a sudden wake up at 5. I did that through like 10-minute increments every day, just continuing to kind of push myself and wake up a little bit earlier. So through creating a solid morning routine, I truly was able to build the foundation of my business from 5 to 7 a.m. And in little pockets throughout the day in those first 6 months.
So I'm glad that you said that it was increments, because to go from 2 hour change. The other thing I want to say, we have the Beachbody disclaimer, which everybody is like, kind of tongue in cheek, say the Beachbody disclaimer. But honestly, I believe the Beachbody disclaimer is a little bit more of a mission statement, because Beachbody doesn't guarantee any level of success. It depends, your income depends on your efforts, diligence, and skill. Like that is not like legalese. That is a mission statement. You put in the effort, the diligence, the discipline, the skills. I mean, that is what you're doing. So when people say unicorn, unicorns exist at Beachbody because it's for people who want this so bad, or they're willing to put in that effort, diligence, and skill. So I wanted to tack on the disclaimer, because it's not all the time that coaches, go in a year and a half to 5-star. I just wanted to make sure that people understand it came with a lot of diligence and skills. So, okay, we're going to move on. Why don't you talk about the first 6 months in the business? What were you doing?
Yeah, thanks for inserting the disclaimer, Sandy. I appreciate you doing that. That's something I'm like really working on, getting like 100% compliant, making sure that I share that, like the unsexy behind the scenes and the hard work that really goes into, building this. So for the first 6 months of coaching, I was working full time. I was teaching bar. I was building my coaching business and just balancing the everyday stresses of life. I truly had found a new light and wave of passion and excitement through coaching. I was truly high on excitement to be helping myself, because I hadn't done that in a long time, other women, and just excited about the possibilities that this business could provide for my life. So new coaches out there, like I remember how that felt, and I just want to like tell you to ride that wave. Okay, so the number one thing that I did in my first 6 months that I really think is like, I don't know, one of the things that really made a huge difference was diving into trainings. I became a sponge. I started watching and listening to trainings all hours of the day. even at work. Well, I probably wasn't supposed to, but I had two monitors. I know, such a rough life. Window office, two double monitors. But I would have, my work up on one, like a project that I was working on, and like coach trainings on like Beachbody Champions, YouTube. I would be listening to National Wake Up Call, like anything and everything on the other screen. So I'd be listening, watching while I was working away. But the thing is, I didn't just listen. I took messy action, and I have stood behind that from day one. So I started applying the things I was learning, and I started growing through doing and failing, a lot of failing. And I still fail today, every day. And that is what pushes me forward. My motto is fail forward.
I'm really glad that you said that you followed it up with action, because a lot of people go to YouTube and they watch everything and they are just paralyzed. And they also they become consumers of information and not really, active on that information. So when you say that it was messy action, is it that you just didn't know what you were doing yet and you just like tried it and whatever stuck worked with you?
Yeah, really, it was just I didn't know what I was doing. I was brand new. I was watching. Now that I was in the Beachbody world, I started watching other coaches to kind of get an idea of like how they shared what they were doing. And really, like, I think a lot of new coaches put pressure on themselves to feel like they have to show up and do it perfect the first time, or they have to do it exactly like, that top coach that they idolize. And it's like, you know what? Like, you cannot compare their day, like, to their chapter 20 to your day one. Like, you can't do that. So I really I took all of those things in, and I just started sharing and doing it in my own way, in a way that felt genuine to me. Because that's another thing I hear from a lot of new coaches is like, they feel salesy or like whatever. And it's like, if you just show up and you share what you love about your journey, like, everything else will follow suit.
Okay, well, we want to hear more about, okay, your first month, your second month, how you got to Emerald. So why don't you take over?
Yeah. So first month, really, kind of as I just mentioned, I, started sharing my daily workouts from the new program I had committed to. I was really focusing on connecting with a lot of new people, inviting to my next challenge group. And when I say connecting new people, like, we all have like our prospect list or whatever. So like, just like reconnecting with people, and starting those conversations and just figuring out like how I can best support the people in my life that I love and already have a relationship with, and then building new connections as well. And I really started sharing, like, from day one, the behind the scenes of coaching. And I talked about my big goals within this business. And of course, as I mentioned, I hosted my first challenge group, and I helped multiple people get started on their journey. I hit Success Club my first month. And then the next month, I was continuing to host and invite to challenge groups, but now I was hosting and inviting to coaching sneak peeks to share more about the coaching opportunity. And this is something that I think is really important, because I see a lot of new coaches be too afraid to share about the coaching opportunity because they don't feel that they like understand yet what it is. But I came into this business for the business opportunity. And I knew there were other women out there who were looking for a similar opportunity, who were maybe burnt out in their 8 to 5, or just feeling unfulfilled, or tired of living paycheck to paycheck, wanting to create more security in their lives. Or I have a lot of friends like in the group fitness world, and maybe they were burnt out with teaching group fitness or whatever. So I started sharing about the coaching opportunity, and how excited I was for it. And that second month, I hosted my first sneak peek, got a couple new coaches to join my team, and helped a few additional people get started in my challenge groups.
So you and I talked about you getting to Emerald. Why did you want to get to Emerald, and who did you bring on this journey with you?
Yeah, so I knew Emerald was the first step in the business. And, the biggest thing that I always heard was like, Emerald is a decision. It's two people. And it really is just like the first little stepping stone in getting started in this business. So before I even signed up as a coach, the first two people that I told I was making the decision to become a coach, and just how excited I was and at the opportunities that I thought it could provide for my life and the people around me, AKA them, were my sister and my boyfriend. So my sister is a few years younger than me, and she has always been like my workout and accountability buddy. And if you have a little sister, they just always do everything that you do. So we've always both been like so passionate about health and fitness, but we never really had the right tools or mindset. As I mentioned earlier, she was familiar with Beachbody because she had purchased the 21 Day Fix DVDs with me. And at that time, you know, when I decided to become a coach, she was also really struggling on her own health and fitness journey. And she had been diagnosed with hypothyroidism and really had a hard time like getting that under control. So it didn't take much for me to convince her to join me in my next challenge group and to become a coach on my team. And then my boyfriend of 5 years, Brandon, he's always been so supportive of my business and my dreams. And now it's so funny. He like bleeds Beachbody blue just like me. But he joined as a coach from early, like first week, to support my business and just our long-term vision with coaching, which I had already like expressed to him, like the importance of this, the vision I had, and he was 100% on board and supportive of that. So he didn't jump in right away with the programs with me, but he would do them with me time to time. He grew up as an athlete, so all he ever really knew was lifting in the gym, and thought that like he had to go to the gym and didn't want to give that up yet. But after watching me consistently show up and get amazing results with T20, he decided to commit to that program. And he lost 10 pounds and got in better shape than he had been in years with that program. Now he's been doing the programs and building the business and dreaming big with me ever since.
That's a great story. So how do you frame the customer experience? If you're going straight into coaching sneak peeks and you're showing people the coaching opportunity, where in that picture are you showing them to get their own results first, to become a customer of the products? I'm just trying to gauge how you introduce that to people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, as I mentioned earlier, I joined Beachbody for the business opportunity. Not just that, it was the whole package, right? But really the aching on my heart was for that freedom and control in my life. And I was looking for a new business opportunity. And I knew there were other women out there like me who were also looking for that. And so I didn't shy away from sharing the coaching opportunity and inviting other people to join my team. So I shared a lot about the community and the extra accountability and reaching your health and fitness goals, and how I was using social media as a accountability tool, and how by showing up as the best version of me, that I was able to inspire other people to get started on their own health and fitness journey. So of course, I focus on talking about the programs and falling in love with the programs and the products, and just sharing that excitement and wanting to help other people on their journey. That's still today kind of how I share in my coaching sneak peeks.
You seem very positive and happy and enthusiastic by nature. You know, it's hard to believe that you were stuck in a dead end job, probably still smiling, you know, all the time. And you are somebody that probably makes the best out of any situation. I can just tell. But what I do want to ask you is goals. I mean, were you a goal setter, and what goals when you came in as a coach? Like, we have new coaches that are coming in every single day. What goals did you set right away for yourself, and how did you know what to shoot for?
Yeah. Oh, Sandy, it's so funny that you asked that, because boy, did I have goals. I have always been such a big dreamer and so goal driven. I'm an Aries, which if you're familiar with Aries, we're natural born leaders and super driven. I'm also an Enneagram 3, which if you're not familiar with Enneagrams, the achiever. So I come by the goal driven, you know, positive leader drivenness, whatever, supernaturally. But when I discovered the coaching opportunity, I knew that I wanted it to be the vehicle to create more freedom and fulfillment in my life. So from day one, I knew I wanted to go all in with coaching. And I know all in is very big. So let me tell you some of the goals that I set. I was lucky, and I will say, you do not need like a top 10 coach or whatever to be successful in this business, but I was lucky in that I did have an amazing leader and mentor who really kind of paved the way and showed me what was possible in this business. So from her example, I knew it was possible to create a six-figure business and to retire from my full-time job and to be able to retire my boyfriend and be able to create like more time and space freedom so that we could have that in both of our lives, to be able to travel and eventually move to Florida where we want to start our family. But I also like the little goals of hitting Emerald and hitting Diamond and becoming a success star to earn my free ticket to Summit, which I did. And you know, now like the goal of speaking on the National Wake Up Call, which I'm doing today, and hopefully one day speaking on stages for Beachbody Corporate at major events. And in my first one-on-one with my coach, Amy, I shared my big dreams and goals with her. And I'm sure she thought I was so ambitious and a little crazy, as did everyone else. But I really put my head down and I got to work. And 6 months later, I matched my monthly income at my 8 to 5, and I gave my resignation notice. And that was literally like 1 year ago today, a week ago.
Wow, this might be a double disclaimer call, but Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success. It all depends on your diligence, diligence, efforts, and skill. Oh, you're making me work hard today, Taylor. Anyway, I have one last question before we get to the close, and that is, you're now a 5 stars, so you have diamonds under you. You have a team of people. So when did you start building a team and teaching them what you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you know, I knew I wanted to be a leader and help other women change their lives. But in order to do that, I had to grow far beyond where I currently was. And I really had to prioritize my own personal development and leadership skills. So honestly, in the beginning, like the first 6 months, I had no idea what I was doing. And I truly learned through doing and failing, like I mentioned earlier. I started building a team right away. I did start recruiting coaches to join my team. And, you know, I did all the like things. I created a new coach welcome guide, a series of training videos. I worked with my coaches one-on-one, you know, help them hit Emerald and get started with sharing their journey. But I really feel like it wasn't until a full year into this business that I really came into my own as a leader. So when I look at my journey, I feel like I had 3 different spots. You know, the first 6 months when I was really building the foundation, just like figuring out the ropes myself. And then the next 6 months after I went full time and like, you know, was having the freedom to work from home, and now like trying to implement new processes and a routine, and really putting a lot of time in like creating trainings and duplicatable systems. And then now in these last 6 months, really shifting into like, how can I be the best leader? And one of the biggest things for me is just, you know, reading leadership books and, you know, my morning routine that I mentioned earlier, in that, you know, I really pour into myself through affirmations and setting my intentions for the day, and like how I want to go into one-on-ones with my team and how I want to show up and lead them. And I've really put a lot of work into my own communication style. You know, Sandy says I'm so positive and bubbly, but I'm also very strong-minded and strong-willed, and I have a tendency to be very blunt. And coaching has really helped me kind of step into this newer, softer, more supportive, loving person, and helped me with my communication style so that I can support and really take my team to the top and help my women, my coaches on my team, you know, reach where I am and beyond where I am, so that they can create this same, you know, freedom, fulfillment in their own lives.
You know, you said something that was really, really important about the way that you communicate. And like, people will see you as being bubbly and energetic and positive, and that comes very natural. But being intentional is something that you have had to work on, right? And a couple weeks ago, I had Shauna Blun on, and she's a self-proclaimed introvert, right? And so you think that introverts are a little quieter in their in vocalizing their joy about things, and maybe I'm generalizing. I'm not an introvert, but I want to say that whether you're introverted or whether you're an extrovert, intentional, anybody can learn to be more intentional with their communication style. So even though you had a natural ability to be joyful and energetic, it still took work for you to become intentional in your productivity and how you wanted to do your day. I just love your story so much. And I love the fact that you took control, because you were not in control of your life, and that was not sitting well with you in your job. So now in this job, a year and a half later, you see my segue there. How are you feeling about this role as a coach and the control that you have to create your own business?
Yeah, I mean, when I think like back to Taylor a year and a half ago, it brings me to tears. You know, I had a great job and I was successful in my event planning career and in fundraising, but at the end of the day, I felt that my potential was being capped with that path that I was on. I was burnt out. I was going through the motions. I was in a job that was just unfulfilling. And I was severely struggling on my own health and fitness journey. And I was just looking for an answer. And coaching was that answer. Coaching gave me the control. It helped me regain control of my life, of my happiness, of my future, and it gave me the freedom to create something much greater than where I currently was. And coaching really has just brought an entirely new purpose and meaning to my life. I honestly, like, when I think back, I'm like, I don't know who I was or what I was doing before I found coaching. And you know, March 28th, 1994 was the day I was born. I'm 26 years old. But February 27th, 2019, the day that I signed up as a coach, was truly the day that I was born into my purpose, and that purpose of being able to create more control and freedom in my life.
Oh, I've got all the feels right now. Very well done.
All the feels.
Thank you. I am so proud of you. Thank you so much for doing the call, and it was a pleasure working with you.
Truly. Thank you so much, Sandy.
All right. Last but not least is an affirmation for today. Coaches. I used to call this call Complain Free Monday, because it is the day that you work on yourself, and it's the start of the week, and you say, today I'm going to do it. I am going to be intentional about what I want to do with this business. I have this affirmation: you have the power to change everything. When she talked about asking her boss for a raise, she did not have control of anything. When she asked for vacation time, she had no control. She's now a coach where she is in control, and she wants to be a leader. She is determined to make this happen. So I am just saying to you, if you want to be a unicorn, it's possible with effort, diligence, and skill. Back up your goals with action. I will see you here next week, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.